Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Reen English Channel, the podcast where we talk about real life topics in natural English. I'm Emma, and today we're diving into a very human topic: feelings, why we have them, how we deal with them, and how to talk about them in English. And of course, I'm here with my co host, Jack. Hi, Jack.
Hey, Emma. Hi, everyone listening. I think today's topic is really important. We all go through so many emotions every day, but sometimes we don't really stop to talk about them, or we don't know how to express them. So this episode is perfect for learners who want to build confidence speaking about personal feelings.
Absolutely. And it's something everyone relates to. We all feel happy, sad, frustrated, excited, scared, proud, all those things. But many learners feel uncomfortable talking about emotions in English, especially in detail. So today we'll try to model a natural conversation.
Right, and we'll talk about our personal experiences, how we manage emotions, how certain events affect our feelings, and how to become better at emotional awareness, both in life and in spoken English.
So, Jack, let's start simple. How are you feeling today?
Honestly, I'm feeling pretty good. I slept well, had a strong coffee, and I feel energized. I think starting the day well really affects your emotions. When the morning goes smoothly, the whole day feels lighter.
I completely agree. A good morning sets the tone. For me, I'm feeling a mix of things right now. On one hand, I'm excited about this episode because I think it's meaningful. On the other hand, I'm feeling a little stressed because I have a busy week ahead.
That's real life, right? Two emotions at the same time. People don't talk about that enough. We often think we're supposed to feel only one thing, but in reality, we can feel excited and anxious, happy but tired, confident but worried all at once.
Yes, and many English learners struggle with explaining mixed feelings. They want to say only happy or sad, but life is more complex. Sometimes we feel nervous but hopeful, or tired but motivated.
Jack, when you said you're stressed about the week, is it because of work?
Mostly, I have several projects that need finishing, deadlines coming up, and I also have some personal things going on. And when everything arrives at the same time, I start feeling overwhelmed.
I know that feeling. When too many responsibilities stack up, our brains start saying, oh no, everything is happening at once. That's when stress hits.
Exactly. So I try to manage it by writing things down, planning, and giving myself small breaks. If I don't, my emotions get too heavy.
That's smart. I think a lot of emotional stress comes from feeling like things are out of control. When you organize things, suddenly you feel you have more power.
Yes. And just naming the feeling helps. Instead of just saying, I feel bad, I try to say, I feel nervous because. Once you understand the cause, the feeling is easier to handle.
Definitely. When people learn to identify their emotions clearly, they become mentally stronger. It's like shining a light in a dark room.
Jack, were you always comfortable talking about emotions, even when you were younger?
Not really. I grew up in a family where expressing emotions wasn't common. If you were sad, you just had to stay strong. If something upset you, you were supposed to deal with it quietly. So I learned to ignore my feelings for a long time.
I know many people who had a similar experience. And later in life, they realized ignoring emotions makes them build up and become even stronger.
Exactly. One day something small happens and suddenly you explode because there's too much stored energy.
For me, it was the opposite. My family talked a lot about emotions. We always had conversations like, how was your day? How do you feel? Why do you feel that way? And while it sometimes felt too much as a kid, in the long run, it helped me become comfortable with emotional language.
That's really healthy. If kids learn emotional vocabulary early, they grow up emotionally intelligent.
True. And even as adults, we can learn to express feelings better. It just takes practice, like learning a language.
Let me ask, what emotion is hardest for you to talk about?
Maybe disappointment. When I feel disappointed, especially with myself, I find it hard to talk about. I feel vulnerable, like I failed or didn't meet expectations.
I relate to that. Disappointment has layers. It's not just sadness, it's sadness plus expectation plus pressure.
Exactly. And when I feel disappointed, my instinct is to hide it. But talking about it often helps.
What helps you deal with disappointment?
Honestly, reflection. I ask myself questions like, why did I feel this way? Was the expectation realistic? And what can I learn from it? When I take time to understand it, the emotion becomes easier to manage.
That's a really good strategy. For me, the hardest emotion to talk about is fear. I like to appear strong, so saying, I'm afraid feels uncomfortable.
Fear is a powerful emotion. People don't like admitting it, but we all feel it.
Yes, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of change, those are universal.
I once read something that stuck with me. Courage is not the absence of fear, but moving forward despite it. So, talking about fear actually makes us stronger.
Absolutely. When you say, I'm scared, the fear shrinks. When you hide it, it grows.
Let's talk about triggers, things that cause strong emotions quickly. What triggers positive emotions in you?
Oh, lots of things. Morning sunshine, music with good energy, a strong cup of coffee, a message from a friend, a sudden idea. I'm easy to excite. Little things make me happy.
That's a great skill. Many people only react emotionally to big events. But if you appreciate small things, life becomes richer.
What about you? What gives you an emotional lift?
Nature. If I go outside and see trees or sit in a park, my mood improves instantly. Fresh air is like an emotional reset button.
Totally. Nature is therapeutic.
On the negative side, what triggers stressful emotions for you?
Noise. If I'm concentrating and someone interrupts, or if there's loud noise around, I get irritated quickly. Not angry, just tense.
That makes sense. Many people feel that way but don't realize the cause.
How about you?
My biggest trigger is lack of time. If I feel rushed and don't have enough minutes to finish something, I immediately get tense.
So time pressure brings emotional pressure.
Exactly.
Something I wish I had learned earlier is that emotions need names. If you don't name them, they control you.
Yes, language helps us understand our internal world.
For example, instead of just saying, I'm upset, you can be more specific. I'm frustrated because I feel ignored when I feel insecure because. That detail makes communication better.
And healthier relationships. People can't support us if we don't express ourselves clearly.
Emotional vocabulary is emotional power.
Let's shift to emotional experiences at work. Work is one of the biggest emotional environments in life.
Definitely pressure, teamwork, deadlines, expectations. Work generates so many emotions.
What emotion do you feel most often at work?
Probably responsibility. It's not exactly positive or negative. It's a heavy but meaningful feeling. I'm trusted and I want to do things right.
Responsibility carries pride and stress at the same time.
Exactly. And when things go well, you feel proud. When they don't, you feel pressure.
I feel satisfaction when I finish tasks, even small tasks. Checking something off a list improves my mood immediately.
That's a dopamine hit.
Yes, humans love progress.
Have you ever had a moment when emotions became too much?
Oh, yes, many times, especially during busy periods. When work, personal life, health, and responsibilities all demand energy at the same time, it can feel like drowning emotionally.
What do you do when that happens?
First, I pause. I stop everything for a moment. Even 1 minute of silence helps. Then I breathe slowly and remind myself that I can only do one thing at a time.
That's powerful. A small pause can prevent a big emotional explosion.
What about you? How do you handle emotional overload?
I move. I go for a walk, do exercise, or clean the house. Movement helps me release energy. If I stay still, my brain spirals.
That makes sense. Some people need stillness to calm down, others need motion.
Something I've learned in recent years is that emotional honesty is rare but valuable.
Absolutely. Many people pretend to be fine because they don't want to look weak.
Or they don't want to make others uncomfortable.
But pretending creates emotional distance.
Yes. When you tell someone the truth, like, I'm having a tough day, it opens a door for connection.
And most of the time, people understand.
Right, we're all human.
So, Jack, earlier we talked about emotional honesty. I think one of the hardest parts is admitting your feelings, even to yourself. Many people don't even know what they're feeling until the body reacts, like stomach aches, headaches, stress eating, sleepless nights. Sometimes the emotions show up physically before we understand them.
That's a great point. The body is a messenger. If you're always tired, not sleeping, easily frustrated, or you feel pressure in your chest, it might not just be physical, it could be emotional overload.
Absolutely. Sometimes our emotions are saying, pay attention, something is too much.
I used to ignore those signals. I would push through stress and say, no big deal, I'll just keep working. But then at night, I couldn't sleep because my mind was racing.
Many people get that. Mind spinning, replaying conversations, worrying about tomorrow, thinking about all the things they didn't finish.
Exactly. And problems look much larger at 3 a.m.
Oh, yes. Everything feels worse at night.
I think one of the big lessons in adulthood is learning when to slow down emotionally. Society pushes us, work faster, do more, achieve more. But emotional growth requires slowing down.
Yes, taking time to feel what you feel, letting the emotion pass through instead of fighting it. When we slow down, we can ask ourselves meaningful questions like, what is this feeling trying to tell me? What do I need right now? Am I being fair to myself?
And sometimes the answer is simple. I need rest.
Exactly. People forget that you can't think properly when exhausted. Your feelings get louder when you don't take breaks.
Let's talk about how emotions affect communication. When people are emotional, especially angry or stressed, they often speak differently.
Yes, tone changes, word choice changes. Sometimes people don't even hear what the other person is saying because they are listening through their emotions.
I've definitely been guilty of that. When I'm annoyed, I interrupt more, my voice gets sharper, and I stop listening.
That happens to everyone. Emotional ears hear differently.
If you feel angry, even a neutral sentence might sound like criticism.
True. And that's why conflicts often start from misunderstanding, not intention.
Yes, one person speaks from stress, the other person responds from hurt, and the situation escalates.
I think emotional maturity is learning to pause before reacting, to feel something, but not act immediately.
That's wisdom. The space between emotion and reaction is where growth happens. If you can say, I'm angry, but I won't yell, or I'm upset, but I'll talk calmly, then you're in control, not the emotion.
And it takes practice. Nobody is perfect, not even emotionally intelligent people.
Agreed. Emotional maturity doesn't mean never losing control. It means recognizing when you do and learning from it.
Let's talk about sadness. Many adults feel uncomfortable admitting they are sad.
Yes, because sadness is often seen as weakness, but sadness is natural. It tells us something matters.
I remember a few years ago, something in my personal life didn't work out, and instead of allowing myself to feel sad, I forced myself to keep busy. I worked more, socialized more, tried to distract myself. It took months before I realized I hadn't actually processed anything.
So the sadness stayed in the background.
Exactly. And when it finally came out, it was much heavier. If I had just let myself sit with the sadness for a few days, I probably would have recovered much faster.
That's a powerful lesson. We often think avoiding sadness is strength, but facing it is actually stronger.
What about you? Do you deal with sadness easily?
I've gotten better. When I was younger, I tried to be strong all the time. Now I understand that crying is normal. If the emotion needs to come out, let it come out.
There's something healing in that.
Yes, after crying, the body relaxes, the brain resets, and clarity returns.
Have you ever had an emotion surprise you? Like you thought you were fine, but suddenly something small made you react strongly.
Oh, yes. I once snapped at a friend over something tiny. Later, I realized the problem wasn't the moment, it was stress I had been ignoring for days. The small trigger opened a big door.
That happens to a lot of people. If we suppress emotions, they come out sideways.
Exactly. Maybe we get angry at someone innocent, or we withdraw, or we lose motivation. That's why emotional awareness is not optional, it's essential.
Let's talk about positive feelings too. Joy, celebration, excitement. Some people are uncomfortable showing happiness because they fear being judged.
That's true. Some cultures encourage emotional modesty. Don't show too much joy. Don't show too much pride. But celebrating small wins is important.
What gives you joy the quickest?
Music. I can be stressed, tired, or sad, but if the right song comes on, my mood changes instantly.
Same here. Music is emotional medicine.
What about you?
Food shared with people I love. A good meal with good conversation, that fills me emotionally.
That's beautiful. Connection is one of the greatest sources of positive emotion.
Let's talk about environment and emotions. The spaces we spend time in affect how we feel. For example, a messy room can make the mind feel messy.
Absolutely. I once read that your surroundings talk to your emotions. If you wake up in a room full of dirty clothes, dishes, clutter, your emotions may feel overwhelmed before the day even starts.
And it works the other way, too. A clean, bright, organized room brings calm and motivation.
And nature also changes emotional energy. If you spend 1 hour in fresh air, your emotional load lightens.
Yes, nature doesn't judge. It just exists quietly until your mind becomes quiet with it.
Jack, I love thinking about emotional habits. Just like we brush our teeth every day, we need habits for the heart.
That's a great point. What emotional habits do you practice?
I journal. Even a small paragraph helps me express what I'm feeling. I check in with myself. How's my heart today? And I try to name emotions clearly.
That's wonderful. For me, my emotional habit is talking. I talk to someone I trust. When you say your feelings out loud, they stop swirling inside.
Talking is like opening a window. Fresh air comes in.
Let's connect this to language learning. When people increase their emotional vocabulary in English, they also increase their emotional intelligence.
Yes, if your only emotional words are happy, sad, angry, and tired, you can't fully express your heart. But if you can say things like, I feel uncertain, I feel emotionally drained, I feel hopeful again, I feel content, then your communication becomes richer and more meaningful.
Language gives shape to emotion. Naming it makes it real. And once it's real, you can manage it.
Let's finish this segment with something important: emotional self love. Being kind to yourself when emotions are heavy.
Yes, many people are kind to others but extremely harsh to themselves.
If a friend feels disappointed, you would comfort them. But when you feel disappointed, you might say, I'm such a failure. That's emotional self abuse.
A good test is, would you say the words you're saying to yourself to someone you love?
Exactly. If the answer is no, then you shouldn't say them to yourself either.
At the end of the day, emotions are part of being human. There is no right or wrong feeling.
Yes, emotions are information, not identity. Feeling angry doesn't mean you are an angry person. Feeling sad doesn't mean you are weak. Feelings come and go like weather.
And just like weather, emotions change. Sunny today, cloudy tomorrow, sunny again after.
That perspective takes away fear. Instead of thinking, this emotion is who I am, you can say, this emotion is passing through me.